Oh, sorry about that. I it's a learning curve every single time. So I might be live right now and I might not, but I'm gonna go for it. Hi, how are you? Maybe that's why. What happens if I close that window? Okay. So I'm Sarah. I'm back. It's Monday. Um, I just got off a Zoom with my sisters, and after this, I have a Zoom with Stitches again. I just got off a weekend of teaching, hi Nancy, of teaching 14 hours of classes. And hi Diane. And I had a 1 hour presentation that went a little over, which I'll talk about. And there were two meetings, one on Thursday night and one on Sunday night. And then there's another meeting tonight. Um, so it's been a full weekend. And now it's the week again. I don't know. I have three things that happened that I want to talk about, but I'll wait a little bit. And then I don't know what else to talk about. I can show you. I think I showed you my. Oops, sorry, Clara. I think I showed you the sweater that I had started, or maybe this is new since last time, but I made it a little farther. I've been watching. Where'd my face go? There I am. There, and I'm wearing black, so you can see it pretty well. I'm wearing black. How unusual is that? So this is that. Yeah, I know. I remember I talked about it because Nathania said she really liked the chic knit patterns. It's Derica Kane. It's on top of everything I need right now, which is that one. So a nice whoop, 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 lace. I remember talking about the yarn. So there's that. And then I also am making another version of this one. I think I bought more yarn. Can't stop, won't stop. But this is fun. It's heavy. It's going to be a heavy cardigan, which is fine, and it's still brown, and I still think it's going to look good on me. And it makes me happy, but I have to pay attention because it's got a little 8-row repeat, which is really, yeah, it's an 8-row repeat. So it's really two 4-row repeats. But thanks, Diane. Yeah, I'm having fun with it, but I've learned that it's not the kind of thing I can do while I'm like attending a Zoom meeting, for example, because I have to pay attention. And I'm a trained professional, but I can only pay so much attention, or I can only do so much without paying attention. So notice I have all these markers every 7 stitches, which seems excessive, but it's a 7-stitch repeat, and there's a yarn over and a knit two together, and they're not always, they move, so I have to look at it at least. But my advice to people is always that right now we're going to open the bubbly water so that I have an excuse to burp. My advice to people is that visual help is always good. Anything that'll help you keep you from making a mistake. And if I have to put a marker every 7 stitches so that I don't find out at the end of 276 stitches or whatever it is that I've made a mistake way back, if I can find it within 7 stitches instead, that would be lovely. So that's why we have markers every 7 stitches. Yep. Okay. I don't know. So I taught at Stitches online, and I taught 3 classes on Friday, and 2 classes on Saturday, and 2 classes on Sunday. But really, 2 of those sessions were part 2 of a 2-session class. So it was 5 classes, but 7 sessions. And I'll give you a sneak preview to the sneak preview tonight, which is a benefit for, it's not a benefit, it's a, people who have gone to Stitches events are invited to the preview for the next Stitches event, which is in July. And I'm going to teach my from start to finish sweater again, the finishing class that's 10 hours long, not all in a row. So not too exciting, very exciting because it's an awesome class, but it's not anything new, but you should take it if you haven't taken it. Diane says she had a 9-stitch repeat that moved, and I had to pay. Oh yeah, when they move, it's even more fun and games. I didn't mean that my repeat moved. I meant the yarn over knit two together moves because the lace is on a little diagonal line, which maybe you understood, but I'll show you again anyway. Oh, I mean, or I could hold up my sweater. So the lace is on a little diagonal. So the yarn over knit together that makes that happen moves one stitch over, one place over every right side row for 4 rows, and then it goes the other way every right side row for 4 rows. And then the purl rows I get to just purl, so those are nice. That's easy. Don't need markers for that. But they're there anyway. And I use the sparkly ones because why not? Sometimes I don't want sparkly ones, and sometimes I do. And so I'm working on that. I actually am the woven art where I work part-time, in case you don't know, in case you haven't heard me mention that 800 times. I am hosting a knit along on Wednesdays at lunchtime. And we declare a theme, and you don't have to stick to the theme, a monthly theme, I should clarify. You don't have to stick to the monthly theme. It's just a way to really call it a knit along. And you can be creative about whether or not your project fits into the theme. But this month's theme is socks. And I declared that because I need to finish up my latest, I should have said no, but I said yes, Christmas stocking. And so I'm working on that too. And it's working because I'm past all the intarsia. Wow, it's so weird when things are backwards. I can't get used to that. So now I have 16 rows of red, 8 rows of green, and then the toe in green, and then I get to finish. So there'll be some ends to weave in, and there will be a little seaming, because when you do intarsia, this is intarsia. Yes, Santa's eyes are dripping black. When you do intarsia, you're working flat. There are party tricks for how to do intarsia in the round, but they are party tricks. They make it work, but they're not really intarsia flat. So when you do it flat, you're going to have to sew it together. So the seam up the back will be sewn, but I know how to do that, so that's okay. And then a little bit of the intarsia went down onto the instep of the foot. This is the foot. So that part was knit flat, and then the heel was done. The white's really glowing. There we go. The heel was done, and then those two pieces, the instep and the heel, will be sewn together where the where the gusset increases were. So then it'll look like this, except it'll say Pete instead of Jane. So the seams are back here and here. This is the same stocking. It's just finished. Let's see. Okay. I don't know how to make white work. And coincidentally, in case you hadn't seen this, same stocking that I have, that my mom knit with my name on it. Raw. Yay! So 60 years later, that stocking is still being knit for more people. But I've made progress, so I'm pretty happy about that. That was part of why I declared socks for the June knit along, Zoom stitch along, whatever. Some people crochet, and some people weave, and some people do other things. I'm blanking right now on what else we've done. And I also want to knit a pair of, I bought some purple fixation yarn, the Cascade Fixation, that's cotton with some, that bag's somewhere else, elastic in it, and I want to make footies. And now I'm not sure, I only have 2 balls. I have size 9 feet, and I only bought 2 balls because that's all we had in purple at the shop, but I'm not putting legs on them. So hopefully a ball a foot will be okay. I forget how much yardage they have on them. But so I wanted to try to get the Christmas stocking done in plenty of time to have 1 or 2 Wednesdays, the knit-alongs on Wednesdays, in June, that I can start my footie. Because, why would I finish anything? I still have almost all of the previous month's projects on the needles, except, what did I finish? The cowl, the very first one, the cowl, I finished that. And the snow one I finished. That's my little snowman that lives here on my, so there he is. He's supposed to be a hat, but seriously, no, he's a cute little melted snowman. So yeah, because I wanted to knit him, one of the months was snow. And Fran, who comes when she can, says that some people keep having meetings scheduled at work on Wednesdays. Yeah, I thought you were just, not talking to me since you're a big Catherine Redford fan now, Fran. But I am eager to see you again in the knit-along. I'm thinking of approaching Catherine and saying, do you want to do like a smackdown or something? Some kind of who has the best students smackdown? Because we keep bragging in the meetings about who has the best students. She probably, I mean, I have the best students. She might have the best classes. I would give her that. But anyway, that's what's going on. And in my knitting world, am I knitting on anything else? Yeah, I have a for hire one that's going to take the rest of my life to do, and I'm working on that. I'm having fun. I'm not going to show you that today, mostly because it's not here. It's there. And yeah, that's where I am, knitting wise. So I've been trying to do all the things, and I didn't do well this weekend trying to do all the things. It's not bad. Life isn't bad. I just am trying to do too many things. So here's some things that happened. And then if you want to chat about something else, throw it in the thing. And when I'm done telling you about all the things I've done wrong, when I'm done with my confession, then I can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But one of the things I did wrong was, and I've been watching each night before I go to bed. This is not 100% true because, I'm a liar. But before I go to bed, I've been trying to watch something while I knit and do my 7-stitch lace repeat with my markers. But often I'm too tired and I just sit there and hold my knitting and watch the thing. So one of the things I started doing was watching these Facebook Lives again. I always watch them after, like the same day after it's done to see. It's just hilarious. I mean, I crack myself up. I don't know. You learn stuff watching yourself, and I'm much more comfortable on camera now than I was. So there you go. But it's an interesting process to watch, and apparently, I got called out by one of my sisters, by both of my sisters really, but only one called me out on it. I trash talked them in one of my Facebook Lives and said they weren't very good knitters, and so, I apologize. She knows the story about, or she does now, about how I use the I'm not a very good knitter, you're not a very good knitter thing, but it came back to bite me in the ass because I said it about my sisters. So now I have to go back and see exactly what I said because they're very good knitters. We don't all have to be the same level of experience in everything that we do. So I trash talked my sisters. I had no idea that they would watch this, and I got called out on it. So now I want to show you, and I want to show you. By the way, one of the Facebook Lives I was doing, I was looking for something during the presentation and I couldn't find it, and it turned out it was behind me on the chair. So that's pretty hilarious. So when I was little, when I was younger, okay, next time I get to say it about Fran's sisters and she'll back me up. Well, now I'm becoming aware that people might actually be watching me when I'm doing these things. So watch what you say. The back of my laptop says, hang on a sec, you're gonna look at my keyboard for a second. Okay, it says, I had to remind myself, it says, there's a sticker, the very first sticker I ever put on my laptop. I became one of those people. It says, do the right thing even when no one is looking. So I could learn from my own stickers. But anyway, hi Susie, hi Kathy. I didn't mean it. I'm still looking back to see what I said exactly, because I just opened my mouth and stuff came out. But so when I was little, so I came by my knitting honestly, is what I'm saying. My mom knit my stocking. I couldn't find. There's a lovely picture of me with long stringy hair and buck teeth and giant glasses, wearing a white poncho that my mom made me. And I can see it in great detail in my mind, and I don't know where it is, so I couldn't find that. But she knit for me and for us. She knit a black sweater with rainbow stripes for, who got that one, Susie or Kathy? And the pattern that she knit it from, I think Sybil Shepherd might have been the model. there were a couple patterns over the years where the people who modeled for the yarn companies either were actresses or turned out to be actresses. So I don't know if it was Sybil Shepherd, Cheryl Tiegs, maybe somebody like that. I don't remember, but that pattern might be. And then my sister made a sweater for me. I think that was a Farrah Fawcett sweater. And then she's making the Farrah Fawcett sweater now for her out of some beautiful, I'm going to say aqua, mint green, Rowan big wool. So I don't know how she's doing on that. She hasn't shown me recently, but that's exciting. So one thing my sister Susie did for me that I probably have somewhere around here is I liked owls. There's a story there. And she made a poster for my room, my bedroom. So she's 9 years older than I am. So, you know, I was younger than she was. And at some point she made a poster that I hung over my bed. It was green. The thing it was on was green, like paper, but it was kind of fuzzy on the, not fuzzy, it was kind of fuzzy on the surface, textured somehow. And on black, there was an owl, and I don't remember what it said. And I'm assuming she drew, I think it's rolled up somewhere in this house. But I hung that over my bed and I loved it. And I remember one night I woke up and it had fallen and it was on top of me and I was like, being attacked by the owl. But besides the fact that it attacked me at night, it was a lovely thing. And I honestly think I have it here somewhere. I did find my Dental Health Month poster that won me an electric toothbrush when I was, I don't know, 5th grade or something. That's here. So the owl can't be far behind. But she also knit me, and I was in college at this point, or shortly after college, but probably in college. So this is fuzzy. It is a Intarsia sweater, because not only did my mom know Intarsia, but my sister did too. But it's an Intarsia snowman, and he has a 3-dimensional, I'll just look down, 3-dimensional nose, and buttons for his smile and his eyeballs, and then this hat and a scarf, and she chose green and white because I went to Michigan State University. Oh, and by the way, somebody told me last week that my sound was weird. So let me know if my sound is weird. I just moved things away from where I think the microphone might be. So let me know if my sound is weird. And sorry about it being weird last week. Nobody said anything till afterwards, so I couldn't fix it. Right now, the fan on my laptop is running like a son of a gun, so maybe that's what it is. It's been getting really hot. So this is a lovely sweater that my sister made me. I washed it before I understood about superwash versus non-superwash, so it's a little felty, but it's still a sweater. No, I don't wear it because I can't wear a giant wool sweater. I mean, I probably could wear it without a coat in the middle of the winter, but it is it's thick. Why do I think it's brown sheep, lamb's pride bulky. So there's that. And then my other sister, Kathy, who's 5 years older than I am, she's the one who tells me that she doesn't know how to purl, which I will have to teach her how to purl. But she makes a lot of my gifts come in, and of course it's black and I'm wearing black, but a lot of my gifts come in garter stitch gift bags that she's knit for me. So that's cool. And I use those. And then she also has other talents, just like we all do. One of the things I did when I was little, like through college and beyond, actually. Yeah, because this was beyond. I used to do a lot of counted cross stitch, a ton of counted cross stitch. And I think that morphed into my love for Fair Isle. And because, you know, it's the same, like, oh, let me just finish this color. Oh, I'll just start a few stitches of the next color. And, you know, and you just keep going. And it's like one more row, but just one more color. And I had done all these alphabet blocks for when I did a lot of things before my first child was born, and then I didn't do much of anything before my second child was born because I was tired. But I made these alphabet blocks with counted cross stitch. And I think I made them into actual blocks, but that means there were 26 soft sculpture blocks that didn't stack because they weren't that square. And they probably lived in a basket for a while. Oh, so maybe anyway, my sister Kathy hand pieced and hand quilted all of the blocks into this beautiful quilt. And did I mention hand quilted? So can you see and hand pieced, so you can see the little, the pinwheel and the little flowery, I'm going to say she used a stencil. I don't know how it works. I've never hand quilted anything, and then on the back, it's kind of wrinkly, but you can see it. But oh my gosh, that was amazing. So my sisters may not knit like I do, or they might if they wanted to, but I'm apologizing for having trash talked them, and I wanted everybody to see how amazing they are. And those are gifts to me from them. Oof. Oof. And they are knit worthy. I have knit for them. Some people are knit worthy and some people are not knit worthy, and they are definitely knit worthy. So there you go. So that was one thing I did wrong that I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I said. So I can just keep digging that grave a little deeper and in my apologizing. And then I gave a talk so I taught 14 hours. I went to 2 meetings and I gave an hour-long presentation. Fran, I don't know if you watched the rest of it yet. It went over. I thought it went 15 minutes over. I was watching my watch and I thought it went 15 minutes over, but apparently after it started, I forgot when it started and I actually went 45 minutes over. So it was an hour and 45. My 1 hour talk was an hour and 45 minutes, and it was. I had to have told you about it. I don't remember, but finding connection, stitching a life together in the fiber industry, or something like that, and I learned how to. And so I was asked to do something. Was it last Tuesday or was it 2 Tuesdays ago? So I had like a week maybe to put it together, and maybe a little more, but I didn't know what I was going to do quite at first. And then anyway, I learned how to do slideshows, and I don't have my digital photos categorized. I used to tag everything when I had a blog, and I would upload my photos, and then I would say it's a Christmas stocking, it's holiday themed, it's Intarsia, it's and then I could look for holidays, or I could look for stockings, or I could look for wool things. I don't know, or Intarsia things. I haven't done that in like a really long time. So I ended up going through all of my digital photos, which is a lot. My library of digital photos starts in 2003. So I went through a lot of photos, and I was up really late at night. I was up till 4 o'clock 2 nights in a row, plus every other waking hour that I wasn't doing something else. I was going through and culling these photos and saying, okay, this would go great in the section on, work, on editing, and this one would go great in the section on teaching, and blah, blah, blah. So I had way too many photos, and I had way too many slides. I figured out I used Keynote, and because I don't have PowerPoint, and I'd never used it in my entire life. So I learned how to use it, and it's pretty intuitive, but as I went on, I would figure out, oh, I should do that this way, like resizing photos, for example. So then I'd go back and redo all the slides. I ended up with 197 slides, and that was after cutting them all down. And each slide had like, I don't know, 6 pictures on it. And I did have them categorized. I had 4 different sections to my talk. Family connections for like how I became a knitter. Local connections for how I learned that there were other knitters in the world. And then career connections, which sounds lame, but that's like beginning to work in the fiber industry. And then global connections was like how it's just gotten way so big, and all the Zoom stuff and pandemic and national teaching and blah, blah, blah. So, and in retrospect, I would have pulled some of those slides because they didn't really have anything to do with connections, but they were just pretty. I didn't need 3 pages of pictures out of airplane windows, but they were pretty. And I didn't like stop and talk about every single one, but I talked about a lot of them because that's the point of the story, was that they were all stories that connected over the years. So an hour and 45 minutes. I went over just a little bit. So that's another thing I did that I'm not proud of. Nobody stopped me. So it was a Zoom, and when it started, I could see there were like, I don't know, a dozen people maybe in the thing. And once it started, I couldn't see anybody and I couldn't see the chat. And nobody ever stopped me and asked a question. I mean, Benjamin's the CEO of XRX, and he was the host. And he was supposed to be like, if there was an important question, he would stop me and ask, and nobody had any important questions, apparently, because he never stopped me. And at some point, he said, he interrupted to say, some people have to go to class. There was another class starting. The market was opening. Some people were hungry. And when I was done, thinking I was 15 minutes over, because I can't tell time, there were like 3 people, maybe 2, that weren't XRX employees still watching. And I was like, where'd everybody go? And then Benjamin told me I was 45 minutes over and not 15 minutes over. And I was like, oh my God. So sorry about that. But hopefully it wasn't too boring. And he got, so it was recorded, and he got the recording posted by the end of the, I mean, it went till, I don't know, I don't even know when it started. See, I think it started at 6:30, and then once it started, I thought it started at 7. So when it got to be 8, I was like, I just have a little bit more, but it was supposed to be over at 7:30. But so it was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 when he had it posted. And so I watched the hour and 45 minutes, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So it was long. I was tired. I watched it again. So I've just, I've been staying up not dealing with, but like getting excited about that, getting ready for that. Oh, by the way, I also taught 14 hours. Thank you very much. I think my classes went well. Thanks for asking. And always have fun. And, ooh, make popcorn, Fran. She says she plans to watch it in its entirety tomorrow night. Fran goes to Stitches a lot. It's fun to have all my worlds collide. So Fran's one of those collisions where I know her from Stitches, and she also comes to my Facebook Live, and she also pops in on the Stitches Zoom along Woven Art Zoom along on Wednesdays, which you're all welcome to do, but you have to send your email to the Woven Art and say, I want to be in the thing. And then you can be in the thing. And it's technically for Woven Art customers, but really I'm running it, so I get to say who comes. But it is, you have to send your email to the shop. You can't just share the link. Somebody did that. That's a no-no. So, yeah, so that took forever. I was exhausted. So I taught I went to a meeting on Thursday. I know it's all about me. I know it's just pity me. Thursday night was the opening gala Zoom meeting. Friday I had 3 2-hour classes. Saturday I had 2 2-hour classes plus my 1-hour presentation. Sunday morning I had off till 2. I had 2 classes one started at 2. So I had 2 2-hour classes, and then the finale meeting, which brings us to today when there's just a meeting tonight that previews for next month. But anyway, Sunday morning I had off. So you would think I would like sleep or eat or walk the dog, but no, there was another conference this weekend that I wanted to attend that I couldn't because I was teaching. But just like Stitches, it's taped, so I can watch it all this coming week, like now. It's all up online, and I can watch it. But I had this beautiful, shining time slot on Sunday where I could go. It's all Zoom. So since I could be there, I signed up to help with the Zoom presentation, the speaker. And so I was going to be the person who let people in from the waiting room and who watched the chat and made people put their hands down and, behind the scenes. No problem, right? So I woke up at 10:45-ish Sunday morning. And I sit up and I look at the dog, and we look at each other, and I drink my water and take my medicine, and I take my temperature because I still take my temperature every morning because it's COVID times and I have a job and I can't go if I have a temperature. So I did that, and I put on my fancy watch, and I put on my glasses and drank my water some more. And then I looked at my phone, and I had a phone message, and I had a text from the person I was supposed to be helping saying, I don't see you in the waiting room. And it was from 45 minutes earlier. I slept through the thing that I was supposed to help with. And I was like, so I apparently shouldn't have signed on to help because I didn't help. And so I have apologized profusely to the person that I had signed on to help, and to the speaker of that Zoom presentation, and to the person running the whole thing, because she had trained me to be a helper. And I was just like mortified. And I have been, my apologies have been gracefully accepted, but they still, you know, they had the feelings. I wasn't there and they panicked. So, and anyway. So that's my wrap up of how I've been failing people. Some are more amusing than others. So yeah, overslept through the other things. So now I get to watch all the other conference, plus the other presentations from Stitches that were recorded. Yeah. So I have a lot of watching to do, and I can work on I can finish up the Christmas stocking and work on the brown sweater, the lace sweater with all the pretty stitch markers. So thank you for listening. I had to go to confession here. And so I've learned things. Don't trash talk your sisters on live stream. Don't overcommit to two things in a row. And maybe don't try to shove 200 slides into a 1 hour presentation. So in the shower today, because, you know, I'm either driving or in the shower when I have my epiphanies. In the shower today, I'm like, oh, I know what I should have done with some of those slides that would have cut down a lot of time. So now I want to like streamline it. I mean, I finished the slideshow like 3 minutes before I signed in to do the talk, so I didn't have a lot of time to practice, to see the flow. I had like zoomed through them, like clicked through them a bunch of times to make sure they were in the right order, but I hadn't like thought about it. And so now that I've gone through them, I feel like I want to do it again. So I want to like streamline it, consolidate, get rid of some that don't need to be there, and focus on the theme, which I think I did okay with. I don't know, but like I want to do over. I want a mulligan, but whatever. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. That took a half hour. That's funny. It's not funny. Is there anything you want to talk about? Oh. Diane asks if I'm doing another sweater class. Not currently. I was trying to do all the things. I've said to you guys multiple times, I'm doing all these classes. I'm teaching for Stitches and for Fiber World, but also, you know, adding a bunch to my schedule here. I still have one sweater design class going on, and the Killabrew vest class is still going on. And then I don't have anything else scheduled here. I had some up and I took them down because I was feeling overwhelmed. And then I was truly overwhelmed because I, you know, slept through things. But I think, and I'm talking to Meg about getting some classes going at Woven Art, maybe soon. We're trying to figure out logistics, so there's that. And I'm like, I think I just need to sit back for a little bit. But when the sweater design ones are over, or as they wrap up anyway, I want to start more because I love to always have some sweater design classes going. So I wanted to do that. It's not right here anymore. That's Tippy's butt right there. Tippy is the mannequin, one of the mannequins. She's the one who falls over a lot. Although I've heard maybe I should have named her Eileen. That would have been a good one too, right? But I named her Tippy, like Tippi Hedren, because she tips over a lot. I was talking about something. Oh, so I still want to do that summer drop shoulder thing. But, you know, in the meantime, I started the Derica Kane sweater, and I have to finish the Christmas stocking, and so I'm trying to do all the things. So there will be more sweater classes, yes. Um, if you're on my newsletter list, then you will see them because that's what they will be. I will also talk about them here, and I'll also talk about them on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. And by the way, I read something, there's some bell to click on that you can subscribe to my to see when I'm going live. I don't know what that means, so maybe one of you does. But I mean, there's the bell with the notifications. But somebody was having trouble figuring out how to get in. I have trouble figuring out how to see other people's live feeds. Like if they're supposed to start at 5, how do you where are they? And it always seems awkward to find them. But so that's about it, really. I don't see anybody asking me for yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Diane's going to keep her eye on my class list and the knit along. And, you know, it's interesting. So it's interesting to me, you know, when in the before times when I was traveling to teach all over the country, not really all over, but East Coast, West Coast, South, you know, Atlanta area, Nashville, Texas, Chicago area. That's cool. Fran says she doesn't know what she did, but they just appear on Monday when she logs in. Well, that's good. I don't know how to make it happen. I'm curious. So I have students. There are students. Hi, Lexi. Follow my page. Notifications for updates are turned on. You should ask that when people click the follow button. Oh, okay. Thanks. Hi, Lexi. I hope you worked for me yesterday because I wasn't there. I'm curious. So I teach for Stitches again, and now it's on Zoom. And I teach my classes still, like I have for over 20 years, and that's now on Zoom. And then, you know, Woven Art, I'm not currently teaching through Woven Art, but when I do, I think it could be hybrid. I'm already planning on having, if we do anything, when we can do something, oh good, busy day. When we can do something live, I plan on having people bring an electronic device if they have one, because then I can do my demo and I'll be in front of everybody on the screen doing my demo, which I think is phenomenal. Because you can see it right smack in front of you as you're doing it at the same time, instead of me leaning over you, pointing or grabbing your hands or whatever. I don't really grab people's hands. I ask permission and then I grab their hands. But so I think I'm still going to have it be a Zoom thing, if only for the demo purposes. And then and people could, like, you know, zoom in from wherever. So the point being, what I'm trying to figure out is, what I'm curious about is, if it's all on Zoom, there's Stitches classes, there's Sarah Peasley Hand Knitted classes, there's Woven Art classes, and they're all basically, and Fiber World classes, and all the other world classes. And so far, they're all pretty much the same cost. And I'm, like, curious why there's not more overlap in the people taking the classes. Like, I mean, Katie moved to Berlin from East Lansing, and she's signed into some Sarah Peasley Hand Knitted classes. So that was awesome. So why don't I see more of that? Not just Berlin, but, like, I'm curious. Is it because you're like, oh, that's Stitches, I don't do Stitches, or oh, that's in East Lansing, so I can't, or Hazlitt, and so I can't do that? I'm just curious what people are thinking, or if they're not thinking, or if I'm just making up that there's a divide somewhere between. Because I teach all those things, right? I mean, I should have all the same students. But that didn't come out right. Because if I taught all the same things, that's why I don't have all the same students. But they are different things. So anyway, that's a long story to say, Diane, I'm probably going to keep the sweater design ones as coming from me, from Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter. XRX is having me focus more. They're not telling me what to do, but they select from the things I propose. They make selections, and my schedule used to be a lot of, you know, I did my Fair Isle, my Intarsia, my cables, my socks, my mistakes class, So if we don't talk about the mistakes class, so I did like technique classes, right? Different stitch patterns, not really called patterns, Fair Island, and little like projecty things. And now they're picking the ones that are more design oriented and confidence building, which is what I want to do. So this weekend I did weaving in ends, swatching for fabric, measuring your gauge accurately, top down set in sleeves, and D. There was a D in it. No, it's pickup lines. There's no D in pickup lines. So picking up stitches. So things that, a pattern might say sew seams and weave in ends, period. And so I helped you do that. So they're focusing more on the stuff that I'm wanting to do for a living, which is, instill confidence and help you be successful with your knitting and happy and joyful and all that, peaceful. So that's those classes. So when Woven Art opens up for teaching again, I could do, yes, you can take XRX classes. Anybody can take them. And you don't have to travel. That's what I'm saying. It's all on the Zoom. It's all the same. So you just go to the XRX website, which is stitches.events, and you can sign up. And honestly, they're the same price as mine. Mine are $5 more because I have to pay for my own Zoom. And they pay for their Zoom and have a lot more teachers. So that's the difference in price that I've seen so far is $5. I'm a little bit more. But it's all on the Zoom. They're the same classes. Then you get access to a whole bunch of teachers. You get to do the events. The events are they have and it's all Zoom. So there's a coffee in the mornings with Rick and Benjamin. Benjamin's the CEO of the company, and Rick is used to edit the magazine, and now he and Elaine kind of pick all the classes. They kind of mold the class schedule. And they don't just have knitting and crochet classes. They have sewing and mending and dyeing and weaving and spinning and all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool because you have a lot more choices of things you can take. Like Fran started taking all of Catherine Redford's sewing classes, and they're making buttons. And like I'm just sitting there going, I wonder where Fran is. And she's off taking Catherine's classes. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're open for anybody. You don't have to travel to the shows anymore. They're all online, just like my classes. And I think that I'll offer the Woven Art ones as hybrid classes also, because I'm going to have them on a Zoom anyway so I can do demos. Because a Zoom, the hands camera on Zoom is better than a projector would ever be, because it's right in front of you while you're holding your knitting, and you can just look up and down and up and down and up and down instead of trying to see the projector, or instead of waiting for me to walk around. So I think that's going to be something that I'll use going forward. And I know not everybody has an electronic device, so then you can just look over at your neighbors. Fran, I want to get one going. I just am realizing I'm doing too many things. When you start sleeping through your obligations, you have to back off a little bit. So I'm going to get some of my knitting for hire done and get through these sweater design classes. I still want to do the summer one. I know I talked to you about you wanted to do a top down, Fran. So I was going to do top down, but I don't have any samples except I'm knitting. Oh, that's another sweater that I'm knitting is a top down sweater. Holy cow. I'll figure it out. Keep poking me. But yeah, so that's where I was getting to, Diane. Anybody can take any of these classes. Okay, good. Late summer or fall. That gives me something to shoot for, which is soon. We're halfway through June, right? Tomorrow, halfway through June. Halfway through 2021 almost. Oh my God. So yeah, thank you for listening to my, yet again, blathering, but that's what I'm trying to figure out, because like I can put the classes here separately that I'm teaching also for stitches or also for Woven Art, or you can just come take them at the place where they're being offered, and then I can offer different things in different places. And then, you can do all the things, which is my goal. I want you to be able to do all the things. So that's part of what I'm figuring out. And so I think I need to back off on trying to teach all the things in all the places, but letting you know that you can take all the things in all the places. And then just streamlining a little bit, because I have to stop taking on the giant knitting for hire projects, especially the Christmas stockings. Holy crap. And and I also am getting excited about taking classes myself. I've signed up for the whatever the hell it is, punch needle, rug punch, punching something with a rug. Making a bumblebee. I'm taking the bumblebee class in July at Fiber World, where I'm also teaching. And, you know, I want to take Catherine Redford's sewing classes. I want to take Pepper Corey's hand quilting classes. I want to take tapestry weaving with Nancy McCrae, who used to own Woven Art, and now she teaches up north, and I bet we could soon. So, do I make more money when I do it on yourself? No. Oh, yes. Yes, I do, Fran. It depends on how many students I get. I get the same, the charge for the class is the same hourly rate. That's a good point. And yes, I would get more money if, because I don't get paid the same hourly rate. Yeah, that is a good point. But my customer base, my reach is smaller here, so I don't get very many, I don't get a lot of crossover, that's the word. So yeah, so that's been part of my pickle, is trying to figure that out. So, and I don't do the whole sweaters through stitches. I break it down and do like the design, you know, the schematic from your closet and the gauge, measuring gauge. So swatches for gauge, swatches for fabric, blocking. I do the finishing class. I do other classes that I'm reading your knitting for confidence and fixing your mistakes for confidence. Those I've been doing those for stitches, and then I like to do the sweater design, which is like at least 6 month obligation, but it's only like 5 or 6 sessions, but they're a month apart because you have to make the whole sweater. And then when Woven Art starts up again, I think I'm going to be doing, I think I already said I was going to do like Fair Isle and stuff, but I think I'm going to be focusing on projects that are, sorry, bubbles, pamplemousse, patterns and yarn from the shop, projects from the shop, because then it's more Woven Art centric. So yeah, I'm trying to make a living. Thank you for listening. I feel scattered today, but I had a rough weekend. So I'm just trying to make a living, but also do what I want to do. And now my struggle is to find time within all that to do the things that I want to do extra, like read a book or take a class. So anyway, I'm going to end because that was way longer than I meant for it to go on. And I'll try to come up with something more exciting next week to talk about. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll like buy 3 more sweaters worth of yarn, or maybe I'll start doing tapestry weaving, or I'm also trying to learn to crochet. So anyway, thanks for being there. I will see you next week. I'll put out the bat call, the bat signal, if I'm going to be there, which I should be, but who knows. And thank you for joining me, and I will see you again. Bye.